Paul Cervantes,
Here.
Jared Murtis,
Present.
and Mike Wanzer.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Item number 4, approval of minutes. We got special meeting and regular meeting.
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion to approve both of those?
I'll make a motion to approve minutes.
Is that Paul?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Say aye.
Oh, aye.
Okay, motion passes.
Item number 5, discussion and possible action regarding the Construction Trade Advisory and Appeal Board 2021 meeting calendar.
Let me bring that calendar up. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out. I'm not used to this Adobe. Give me just a minute.
I guess, do we have any changes on our side, guys and ladies? We had one.
Yeah, I did want to point out that we are going to be changing the time. So of the meeting, instead of 1, we're going to do 1:30. There we go. Sorry about that. And then we need to add a meeting in January regarding the annual report. Y'all have to go through it once more to make sure that y'all, agree and approve it before we submit it. So I'll be sending another calendar out to y'all with that January date added and the time being changed to 1:30.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay,
If we don't have any comments, let's go on to item number 6.
Oh, can you all make a motion to approve it?
Is it a discussion or possible action? Because are we going to have to reapprove it in January when you send us back the revised calendar?
Okay, sure, we'll do.
Unless you want to give us a date verbally and we can just make one approval right now.
It's the third Thursday, so in that January will be the 21st.
Okay.
I make a motion, we approve it as amended. Mike Wanzer.
Second that.
This is Ram Munoz. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Okay, great.
Item number 6, briefing and discussion reporting. Process changes for the Construction Trade Advisory and Appeal Board 2020 annual report.
Okay, sorry, I didn't introduce myself earlier. This is Catherine Garza, Agenda Coordinator for Development Services. I'll be briefly going over the changes. So let me just start with a little bit of background. The annual reports were usually just done administratively without any involvement by the board. They were just created and submitted to the city secretary's office sometime in January of each year. And I attached a sample from 2018, and which is basically, if you looked at the excerpt from the policy changes that were approved by City Council in March, that would be D2. That's kind of what the annual reports have been, basically just a description of actions taken. And it's basically just a summary of each meeting. And so now with that change, which is A, B, C, and D, as far as D1, statement of goals and objectives, that's kind of basically your purpose. It's stated in your powers and, let me see here, powers and purpose of the board and your rules of procedure from the municipal court. That's kind of what your goals are. You could consider that to be your goals. But as far as completing it, we don't have that link established yet. City Secretary's office is still working on that. So it is due at the end of January. And that will include involvement by the chairman, which would be you, Ram, and with an assist by me. So we'll have to kind of submit that together. And like I said, we'll come back in January so that y'all can ratify it. But at this point, we just kind of need any other input that y'all would like included in the annual report. If there's anything else y'all would like to add, you can make that statement now, or you can email me. And y'all have any questions?
No.
No.
Now, this is Ram Munoz. I got a question for your description of action sections and the goals and objectives during the previous calendar year. Where do you have those listed out?
The previous calendar year, y'all were not established yet, right?
Right.
So
We
I
only
don't
had,
know that we have one. I don't know that we have one for 2019. And I'll have to look and see if a report was done for each board in 2019. I don't think we found one, but I can still look. But I mean, it would probably be similar to the 2018 report.
well, I'm curious there. You said 2019. So our report's only going to capture the days we're established for in the meeting for 2020, right?
Right, which were just your only meetings were in August and September.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll get that to us in January, right? To review?
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
So
there's no
we
other
don't-
question. Go ahead.
So we don't have no action to take on it. We go to the next item?
Correct.
Okay. Item number 7. Deputy Building Official Report and discussion regarding the 2021 code adoption cycle.
Okay, I'm assuming this is where I jump in. My name is Luke Fry. I'm the Deputy Building Official, and I want to thank you all for meeting today and allow me to be a part of this meeting. This is my first meeting, and I hope we have many more to come. I was asked to give just a brief report summarizing some of the things that I've run across since the time that I've been here. This is my 7th week that I've been at the city of Corpus Christi, and I most recently came from the city of Houston. In those 7 weeks, we've noticed a number of things that we like to bring to the community's attention and have a discussion with the community. One of those things is drainage. We have a lot of complaints from our constituents on drainage from construction sites, on both new developments and also for infill lots. The other thing is illegal construction. We have a lot of illegal construction in the city of Corpus Christi. We're trying to address that appropriately with fines and also with hiring more inspectors to help address the illegal construction. The next thing, excuse me, is the code cycle. So as a group here, we have internally decided that we want to push the code adoption off just a little bit, push it out a little bit. We're getting some feedback. Okay. So our initial goal right now is to use the year of 2021 for review of the codes and working with the community and all the stakeholders to discuss the potential amendments to those codes, and then actually adopting the codes in the year 2022. And we're looking for input today on that proposal.
This is Jared Murtis. As far as I think a lot of people are still struggling with the 2015 adoption. So I think spending some time to review 21 would be good. I don't see any problems with delaying to 2022. At least there's nothing that I can think of that would cause anyone any grief.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mike Wanzer, I concur with that. Yeah.
So when was the 2015 adopted here in Corpus Christi?
I think, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was adopted. It wasn't just a year or so old when it was adopted.
Okay.
We had gone from one code cycle that lasted a very, very long time to then we changed. We had two real quick, at least in the plumbing mechanical end of things.
Well, we were on, Mr. Fry, we were, the city had adopted the 2009 code, IBC code family, and did not entertain 2012. So 15 was adopted. I know it was adopted fairly late. And actually, one of the things that I wanted to talk about for the future agenda is on this topic. Actually, we have some non-compliance issues that I have concerns about. I think, Ram, I can talk about some of it relates to the code adoption, but it's kind of how we're still struggling with the current code and some of the problems I'm seeing in the industry. And I think I can talk about that right now, can't I?
Yes, you sure can.
Okay, so one of the things that I'm finding when we do energy compliance for the new buildings and whatnot is I'm seeing a lot of non-compliance for existing buildings, and like with doors and whatnot, there's many door companies in this town that are selling doors that don't meet current energy code with respect to air leakage requirements. And I've done asking some questions, and I've noticed that the manufacturers of some of the doors that they rep don't have products that are tested properly. So one of the things so I basically know that there are many doors in this town being installed that are not compliant. They're not being, verification is not being had with the city of Corpus, or they're not being permitted. One of the things that I think we need to do is something that we did on the electrical advisory board for years, is we had supply houses that were part of the board, or we had outreach. Because what I've done is I've spoken to some door companies, and the sales staff are actually ignorant to the code requirement. They don't understand what it is. And one of the vendors said, hey, the owner has to tell us what they want. And my comment back to him was like, well, how is an owner going to understand code requirements? They don't know what building code is. They're relying on the manufacturer and the door supplier to be meeting code requirements. So I think there's some outreach required for sure, that we probably should outreach to supply house and whatnot. But I'm also seeing that I don't know if the city is taking enough. I know on new construction we're requiring energy compliance review, but what about for door replacements, window replacements, things of the smaller nature, existing building? I think there's some holes here, and I really haven't had a chance to review the 21 code yet. And so I don't know if it's more stringent, less stringent, but I know that we're still struggling with the 15 code that we have right now. So I just wanted to share that with city staff, and I think that we should have some discussion about it in the future and figure out how we can solve it, because I'm seeing a lot of non-compliance going on.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. And we had a similar situation in Houston where we had to educate a lot of the vendors as to what the code required, because 2015, going from the 2009 energy code to the 2015 was a huge jump.
Right.
Depending upon how you measured it, it was anywhere from 23 to 30% more stringent. And
Well,
it was a shocker to many people.
It was catastrophic for us because the 09 code did not have an air tightness standard in the energy code. The envelope, the fenestration was not required to be tested. That came in 12. So when we adopted 15, it was a hit. And this is the problem I'm having right now is it was the air leakage. A lot of doors and windows, they can get them insulated, but there's a lot of product being installed in the city of Corpus that does not meet the air tightness standard of the code, which is a minimum standard, and that is a problem.
Agreed. I have not had a chance to review the 2021 code for energy or any of them for that matter. So I can't speak to where the code is going. I would find it hard to believe that the 2021 could be that much more stringent than the 2015 because it has changed so much.
15 is pretty stringent. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's very stringent. So, but no, I appreciate that input because we will be doing some outreach. We're still working with. We're currently working with the Home Builders Association, and I intend to try to work with the commercial contractors as well, and other stakeholders with how that outreach will look and how we're going to interface, because we need to have those conversations and we need to get everybody's voice at the table to get a better understanding of what's going to be required.
Okay.
I think we need to get somebody from the wholesale on the board, the wholesale side of whether it's plumbing, air conditioning, or, building parts and pieces, somebody on the, our board that represents that group.
I guess the question is, can we do that? Can we expand?
We have discussed it before.
Yes.
I mean, no, right now there's not a place for it, but I think when we got into this a couple months back, we were trying to feel out, well, who, like, do we really need a surveyor? I don't know, but I'm just saying they were looking at maybe changing the makeup of the board, just kind of as you go process. And I think, and I've said it before, and getting somebody from the wholesale side of things on would not hurt at all.
Well, I would agree that the more representation we have, the better. Of course, I think at some point there's going to be a cap. I don't know if it's in our bylaws or something as far as how many members we can have a cap at, but the more diverse those voices are, the better off we're going to be.
Mr. Fry, this is Jared Murtis again. The reason why I brought that up earlier is that it used to be part of the boards, like the electrical advisory board had that position to have supply house there. And when I first got on the board, it was 12 years ago or more, and I was curious, like, well, why are they here? And I was educated because as the code changes, the supply side needs to be able to have product and knowledge available to provide product that was compliant. And I think when we've restructured the boards, we're now missing that component. So I think that's what Mike and I are trying to say, that we have done it before and there was value in it.
Okay, yes, if I may, I'm looking at the bylaws, or rather, they're not necessarily called bylaws, it's just the rules of procedure. You all are comprised of 9 members, so you are missing 4. I can go through that real quickly, but before I do that, I have been in contact with the city secretary's office, and she sent, we'd only have like about 3 applications on file, and I think only 1 out of those I think 2 out of those applications are applicable to this board. I think one was a Texas professional land surveyor, and then another one was an electrical contractor. He was a master electrician, but we're lacking an electrical contractor.
Yep.
Because we're required to have a master electrician and an electrical contractor. So real quick, the procedure says it must be composed of 1 general contractor, 1 engineer or architect, 1 master electrician, 1 electrical contractor, 1 master plumber, 1 plumbing contractor, 1 heating and ventilation and air conditioning, and refrigeration contracting technician. So that's 1 HVAC, and 1 land surveyor. So that's what's in the rules and procedures right now.
Well, we had previously discussed, though, possibly, I mean, I think we all know who's, what's set out in the rules, but perhaps looking at one of those positions that isn't filled right now and maybe getting that changed you know,
Well,
to
like
something
me
that we can
personally,
fill.
I'm a master electrician, and I'm also a contractor, and also
Yeah,
too, I sit on the board with the Builder Association, so I can be your link with the Builder Association because I'm the former vice president of I'm sorry, second vice president with the Builder Association, so I can help you with that as well.
yeah, I agree. I don't know why you would need a master electrician when you have somebody that's an electrical contractor. I
Right,
mean, I
like me,
could,
I
yeah,
fit both
like you, that's
bills.
what I mean. Yeah, exactly
Crazy.
like you know, that's,
Wonderful. This is
anyway,
Ram. Can you
it's
guys
just
hear
a
me?
thought.
Yes, we can hear you, Ram.
Okay. So every time you guys speak, make sure you start with your name off. But we had the discussion a while back where the whole group had requested some way or interpretation if we can modify the member requirements where we can have maybe 2 interchangeable positions, and whether it can be, on the mechanical electrical side. But yeah, we've done this request at almost every meeting. So I know you came back and told us the information of what our board was supposed to be comprised of, but we're trying to find a way to get it amended in order for us to try to fill the roles with some flexibility. And whether we make 2 general ones, that'd be great. That would help Jared, that would help Paul, that would help Mike, Gary, all of us, to maybe even that one role can be rotated around during, every couple of years. Somebody new comes in and, it could be the building trades or electrical trades. And it just keeps all of us aware of what's out there.
Mike
So-
Walker, there is a huge disconnect in the AC wholesale suppliers with the actual codes as well. I mean, I don't know about doors, but I mean air conditioning. Some of these wholesale houses they have no idea what's code compliant, and they're out there pushing this stuff off the contractors that should know but don't.
Right. And Mike, this is Jared Merce again, so everybody knows the Department of Energy knows that, and they've actually taken it at the federal level. So now
Yeah.
you've got refrigeration standards and pump standards for pumps. No longer manufacturers can't even sell a non-compliant product anymore. They actually bypass the code family and just are doing it at the federal level because of that.
Right. Yeah, I'm aware of that. But I'm just saying, I'm trying to reemphasize there is a need there for somebody.
Absolutely.
That,
Absolutely.
we had that problem with that Cellcore PVC pipe, and then we had some guys from a couple of plumbing wholesalers come in, and they pretty much said, well, if y'all don't want us using it, we'll just back away, and we won't quit on it, but we won't push it.
This is Ram again. If we can try to keep, I know you guys are going to talk about a bunch of topics, but if we can stay geared towards the meeting where I know we want to talk about individual components and all that stuff, but we're trying to do the general sweep, which is kind of hard for all of us to do. But that's what our focus is overall.
I thought we were looking for ideas to improve it.
Well, no, we can improve it, but the problem is we can't improve it unless the board lets us. This is Ram Munoz. Unless the board lets us modify the current,
Right.
members.
Oh yeah. No, I'm with that. Yeah. I'm
Yeah, I got dreams too, and right now the city's not letting me have my dreams because I'm stuck with a certain group of roles we can't even fill with important people. We barely got a land surveyor finally on board that's going to go in front of city council in January, which is great. Ron is applying from Bristol Surveying out here.
Right.
Yeah, but that took Gary Camp and myself going out there and doing some PR work, and Gary's known Ron Bristol for a long time, so he was encouraged by Gary to come join the board, which you guys, I know it's a hard task to do, but we all have to go out there and encourage people to join.
Right.
Well, I agree, and I do that myself. So
Great.
I can't believe we don't have plumbers.
This, I have a couple, I got 2 other people interested in the board, but if we're going to shake it up, I think we need to do that because I had an architect really interested, and I had another electrical contractor that was also a master electrician. But I don't want to duplicate something that we already have, so I think it's important, Ram, that we do pursue making any changes we're going to make before we go out and pursue people to get on the board.
Agreed. So Yes, sir.
So just one question I have, how do we get these rules? Was this written by the previous building official? Was it written by the city secretary? How do we get to this point?
With an assist probably from legal.
Okay. So we need to talk to Buck Bryce then, who's our legal consultant for the city before we.
He's not on. I could have sworn I invited him, but yeah,
Well,
he's
you
not on.
did, I saw him on the invite, but if you guys, if you're desiring to amend this, I would think that we would have to talk to legal counsel first and see if we can get this adjusted, so.
This is Ram Munoz. Yeah, that was all written without any input from, I believe, the boards I sat on. That was just randomly one day it appeared and saying it's the future of all the boards and you guys are being disbanded here in a few months. That's how
That's
that paper
exactly the
got
way
in
it
front of us.
Mike Wanzer, that's exactly the way it happened on the plumbing mechanical board as well. We met.
So
and then we
you
never
guys
met.
didn't get any input from Gene on that? Did you guys ask Gene the question or did he have a comment on that?
This is Ram Munoz. We asked those questions, but they said a third-party consulting company went ahead and recommended the boards be consolidated into one larger entity, and that's all we were told. And later on, we're here today.
Okay, well, I appreciate you letting me know the history on that because that's helpful for me. But now we just, we'll have to just figure out how to move forward. So, yeah, because this is very specific and this may not need to be what it is, but we won't know until we have another conversation, I guess, so.
Wonderful. So to recap, I heard, this is Ram, I heard that we want to look into our components and how to outreach to warehouses and suppliers to find energy compliant components that work with the building code. That came from Jared and from Mike. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
And then we heard that we want to find out how we can amend our bylaws to allow a different group of, maybe a larger audience that we can pick from for pool for members. And is there any other items we want to go ahead and have, the staff look into?
Mike, this is Mike Wanzer. I wanted to say on the different trades, I don't know who said it, but the idea of maybe having a choice or one or two to fill a position, instead of being locked onto one, it has to be like, this or that, on the same position. I like that idea.
Wonderful. Good. Now,
Ram,
I have, this is Ram. I have one request is that I want to find a way for commercial and residential projects, when they go get reviewed, that they're reviewed to the same guidelines, building codes, have to have the minimum information on the construction drawing. And same with the residential code. We keep running into, that's the way it used to be. That's the way I've always done it. If we want to make development service better as a group, we got to follow the minimum requirements, which is, like everybody says, the building code. So if we have all that, uniformly across the board when we go for permitting, everybody out here in the construction side is going to see that, okay, it is a requirement now. We have all these energy requirements. We have all this building information here. When they submit it to, the warehouse and suppliers, they're going to see that there's uniformity across the board, that the city is mandating minimum code requirements, minimum information on there. Because I can go to 2 job sites and the stuff on the drawings are entirely different, not based on the way they're drawn. It's just that information didn't get put on the drawings because they didn't review it before. It's just the ever-changing review group out there.
Hey, I have,
It's hard to find.
I appreciate you saying that, Ram. Thank you.
this is Gary Camp. Luke, I appreciate you getting on board here. I know you've only been here for a short time, but one of the things that needs to be tackled also, and these guys will agree, we need to get fire married into development services. I'm a commercial contractor, and invariably we have a reviewed set of plans stamped by the city. Everything's good to go, and the fire department comes in for final inspection and changes things. That's happened numerous times to us, a lot of times with striping and with, I mean, these are things that are approved, have gone through review, but somehow fire is not reviewing these things properly, or something's happening down there, because we should not have to have unplanned change orders at the end of a job that, cost a lot of money, such as elevator returns, alarm, things related to the fire department. So I would really appreciate it if you guys would try to get to working together. There's always been kind of a standoffishness between the departments, between the department and development services. And I'd like to see that. That's all I got.
Well, I appreciate you bringing that up, because the first week that I was here, I met with Chief Page and started a conversation to open the line of communication. I want to work with him as seamlessly as I can and with his group as best as I can. It's unfortunately, it's also a situation that I think is not unique to Corpus Christi. In Houston, we had some of those same problems. So I'm going to try my best. The ball is rolling; it's in motion. But I would also ask that you would send me an email with some specifics. You've mentioned a few here, and I've wrote a few down, but I would like to get a few more specifics so I can talk to Mr. Page directly and the other fire marshals and see how we can make that process better.
I have a suggestion to make it better. Get the
Okay.
firefighters out of the building services department, period. Just so they're not even involved. And I'm not involved with them at all, but it's overreach. That's opinion. My sponsor.
Yes, sir. All right. Do we have any more future discussions? I guess any more on the building official report?
I don't have anything else. That's all I have.
Okay.
A comment or
item.
this Gary Camp again, Ram. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I noticed that we're going through a lot of inspectors leaving the department. I'm sure you're hiring them as fast as you can, but some consistency in your inspectors too. You're working on getting master, they need to be master electricians or plumbers, whatever the case may be. But what we see is inconsistencies. And I think one of the things that we've also seen is that some of the inspectors are real good about working with us and say, okay, fix this, send me a picture, and I'll know you got it, and I'll clear the inspection. Others will just walk away, and we have to pay for an inspection fee, which seems pretty unnecessary when it's something minor. I just want to see consistency in it. That's all.
Okay, duly noted.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 8, future agenda items. This is Ram Munoz. I have one future agenda item besides the ones we talked about in item number 7. Is where are we on plan reviews for development services, and how many of these are actually hitting their target date for the required duration? I can say I have projects right now that have been in review for probably twice as long as they typically are right now. And I'm not going to bring up names of what projects they are. I'm just letting that be put on the table, is that there is backlog apparently.
So this was a future agenda item, right?
Yeah.
You're not expecting an answer right now?
No, I would not expect an answer. I would not force that out of you. I understand.
Well, I mean, I can comment on it the best I can, which is that on the building code side, which is what I'm managing, we're hitting our review times 90+% of the time. But I can't speak to the land development side. I know we have some vacancies, and we've also had some people out sick. but I don't have a handle on what's going on that side of the building.
Now, is that coming from? Are you 100% aware of where the projects are at right now on plan review? This is Ram speaking.
Say it again. Am I 100% what?
Sure that 95% of, well, I guess, here's the word. Are you sure 95% of them are meeting their required review time?
Well, I mean, we've been tracking them, but the issue that we have internally is that there's a number of different issues with how we get that information, how the information is measured, and if our measurement of the information is correct. Okay, so we've been working with IT at length to develop a better measurement, to develop a better process. Some of those numbers have been questioned. So when I say I'm sure, what I'm saying is I'm sure based on the reports that I'm getting. But again, that relates to my side of the house. It doesn't relate to the land development side or the zoning side, or the fire review or other reviews that may be associated with it.
Got you.
So it's just kind of a complicated answer. I think it's going to take some time to really drill down and get our reports better and get them to a point where we feel more comfortable with them. Did we lose them?
Future items. This is Ram. So we have a couple of future items that have been coming and going for a while. It's going to be a consolidated form survey and elevation certificate kind of letter. Because right now we are required to do setbacks on commercial properties. We are required to do an elevation certificate if it's in a floodplain, a foundation certificate as well, and our windstorm. So on some jobs, I end up having to write 4 letters for the same building. Trying to find a way that you guys can consolidate maybe down to 2. Maybe windstorm and maybe flood if we had it, or foundation and survey, be put in 1 letter, maybe get us down to 3 letters if we have to. Just trying to make that easier for us.
Okay, great. And just so I understand, you're noting all these items for the next time? Or, okay. Was he?
This is Randy.
Okay.
I know we have a meeting January, I guess the 3rd week of January. I mean, if these items aren't going to be on there, that's fine, because I know that one's particularly set for our report review only, right?
Correct.
Okay. Then we can push off these items to the following up meeting then.
And that was for March, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is Ram again. So there was a couple items that were dropped during item number 7 from Jared and Mike. Those were meant and intended also for the future agenda item.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ram, for clarifying that.
Okay. Do we have any more items to discuss or?
I just wanted to again welcome Mr. Fry and just for you to know we're all here to help you in any way that we can. You just have to reach out. So, and we're very, very glad that you're here, and look forward to working with you and making this city that we live in the best that it can be.
Likewise, I second that.
Should we say all in favor?
Well, thank you all. I appreciate the warm welcome, and I look forward to working together.
Great.
So,
If we don't have any other items, Luke, if you won't have any words to say, otherwise I will adjourn the meeting.
that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone.